Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to TMXing Adventures. My name is Lisa Keegan, and this afternoon we are continuing on with our quick snacks in our Thermomix. We are doing this recipe today that I don't think I've ever made before. It's actually out of, I think, our Louise Fulton Keats or a collection on baby food. However, don't ever let that stop you from making it. I often say that about the kid-friendly butter chicken, that it's one of my most favorite ones. It's so quick, so simple, and yet it says kid-friendly, so people disregard it. I think the kid-friendly has to do with the spinach in it, so just leave the spinach out, but it is such a great recipe. So I'm going to show you today this awesome muffin. It is jam-packed with veggies, and I can't wait to give it to the kids for dinner tonight. So we're going to get started straight away. It does have dairy in it, and I'll talk about some swaps in a second. Otherwise, it is gluten-free, I think, as well. So it's packed of eggs and veggies and cheese, but I'll talk about that. So preheat oven to 180. So that's all good and done. Hey Chris, lovely to have you on this afternoon. And then it says generously grease a 12-hole silicone mold. Now this is from the Mix Shop, okay, Thermomix in Australia's Mix Shop. It's a silicone one. I really do like it. Well, I think they've still got it. Not completely sure. I haven't shopped much there lately. But what I like is it's got rigid sides. So the insides are fully silicone. You can see, you can push them, but the outside's actually solid. I like that. It means I don't have to put it on another tray. So yeah, Mix Shop, check it out if it's there still. Hello, Vicky. Hey, Denise. Lovely to have you on this afternoon. So that's what I'll be using, and therefore, because it's silicone, I don't grease it, okay? First things first is 100 grams of cheddar cheese. Now, I just use tasty cheese. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but anyway, that's what we buy. That's what we use, a 1 kilo block of tasty cheese all the time. So let's put that in today. Hopefully I've cut about 100 grams. Oh, yeah, 93, that'll do. Click on next. Okay, on with my lid and my measuring cup. And hello, Annette. Lovely to have you on this afternoon too. Okay, 7 seconds, speed 7, and it's grating. Okay, clicking on next, transfer to a bowl and set aside. Now, sometimes I will skip this step. If I'm making veggie slice, those of you who've watched me make zucchini slice over the years, you'll know that I actually just chuck it all in, spin the dial, let it chop like that. I'm tempted to do the same where I don't bother putting it aside, but I'm not familiar with it. And I have bowls. I'm organized enough today to actually have the bowls. So I will put it aside today. But normally I would just chuck it all in and spin the dial. You guys know that. So let's keep going with the recipe. 100 grams of cherry tomatoes. If you want to know how to make that zucchini slice, and I call it a veggie slice because we actually use zucchini, but we also use carrots and capsicum and spinach and broccoli stems and all sorts of random veggies in that. We hide into it. But if you want to see that, just search and you'll find it here in the page because I've done it a few times over the years. Been doing these videos now, I worked out since March 2020 and we're nearly finished March 2022. How time flies. Now I don't have cherry tomatoes. I'm going to use a big tomato and I'm actually just going to put it in. So it says to just wash and halve for the cherry tomatoes. I'm going to quarter it. I'm hoping it's going to chop it down. I'm actually hoping it'll do like a is it a bruschetta? Or is that the bread? You know when you put like a salsa, that's the word I'm after, a salsa. I'm hoping that's what it does. I'm really not sure. Let's see. That's about 47, so this will be about 100. Beautiful. Then it's got some red pepper cut in pieces. I don't have red pepper. I've got green. It seems to be easier to come by today. Hey Anne, how are you today? I hope your afternoon's been good. And it says 80 grams. So I'll put that in. And I'm just making sure it fits down the blade shaft. So that's kind of how I do it. I'm not going to have enough for the 80 grams by the looks of it. That's okay though. So we'll put that in. Then we've got Lucky Last mushrooms. I'm hoping I can hide these from the kids. They actually eat mushrooms at breakfast time. My kids do, 2 of my kids, 2 out of 4. But then they're funny when it comes to other times. So we'll see whether they'll eat them today. Now these are small enough that I'm quite comfortable with dropping them in as they are. Let's see. I won't go overboard though because I know that that could cause some not to not eat them. So exactly 60 grams, perfect. All right. Now, basil leaves, fresh. We don't grow basil leaves. It's about the only herb that we really do struggle to grow, mainly because it always goes to flower and seeds. I do want to grow it again, but in the meantime, I don't know about you, maybe you have the same struggle. Just use your dried herbs, okay? No big deal. It says 8 fresh leaves. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. I reckon you could use mixed herbs. If you like a kick of chili, I reckon some chili. I mean, it says kid friendly, so it's not going to put chili in, but you can. So definitely have a play with that. Now insert the measuring cup. And we're nearly done. We're just going to be putting this all together in a moment. So speed 6, 7 seconds. You can hear that that's done. You can hear when it all free spins. So when you're cooking with your Thermomix, you're not just cooking with it telling you what to do, but you can use your instincts as well. So when you hear it free spin, you could push the silver selector, which for those of you watching along, or maybe you're new to Thermomix and get a TM6 on your bench, that silver selector there actually stops it. It stops the step early. It'll stop your speed. So you don't scale back your speed, you actually hit the button. I used to call it the emergency stop, but then someone said, well, what's the real stop? I'm like, oh no, it's the same thing. So push the silver button to stop it, all right, and that'll then allow you to interrupt that step. So it looks like a brown sludgy mess inside, which I'm guessing is what it's supposed to look like. And then we'll go next. Admittedly, if you had red capsicum, it should look red, okay? But mine's not. Transfer to a simmering basket and set aside to drain. That I'm no good at. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to keep on going. Now it says 6 medium eggs. I have some duck eggs. I've got 5 of them from up the road. Been visiting a friend up the road and she's got gorgeous ducks and chickens and I get eggs. Thank you, Maria, for those. So now some black pepper and it says 1/8 of a teaspoon. So just give it a solid shake. What I have noticed in this recipe though is it has no salt. I don't know whether I'd go and add the salt to it. I'm not familiar enough. So when I do later on the picture, I'll actually put a little note there about whether I think you should add the salt. Obviously being kid friendly, if they don't want you adding salt to baby food. So, or the baby led weaning, 6-month-old and those sorts of things. So that's why I'm guessing there's no salt, but I'm also mindful that nothing in there has a saltiness. There's no Parmesan, those sorts of things. And I said I would tell you about cheese replacement and I forgot. Let's just jump over to cheese replacement. If you need to be dairy-free or maybe you don't have cheese, something that's really good to keep in your pantry is something called nutritional yeast. Now, it is not a weight, a scoop by scoop equal. Okay, so if I use it in Brazilian cheese puffs, which normally has 70 grams of Parmesan, I actually just use a tablespoon. And these flakes are cheesy, they smell like Parmesan cheese, and they just give it that cheesiness to it. I would probably put in 2 tablespoons to replace this to give it the cheese flavor. So nutritional yeast, it is not a yeast product. It's actually, I believe, a magnesium product. And it's worth just keeping in your pantry, or if you know you're not going to use it in a very long time, put it in your freezer. Because when you don't have cheese, because the shops are out of cheese, you can use that instead and not, skimp and miss out on making amazing food because you're like, oh, I don't have cheese. So I've used it on quiche Lorraines, I've used it in muffins and all sorts of things over the years. Oh, add the reserve cheese. I just did that. Excellent. Now insert the measuring cup. So now, because I didn't strain that, I do run the risk of it being a little bit runny. Oh, and by the way, it said 6 eggs. I put 5 duck eggs in. But back to the runniness. I'm not too worried about it, okay? So if you find it's too runny, it'll be fine, as long as you haven't gone significantly over on the tomato. Or if it's something with zucchini, like zucchini can be quite liquidy. Again, don't go heavy on it, all right? So that's why, the zucchini slice doesn't strain the zucchini, which is kind of weird because you think it would, but it doesn't. So that's why I'm pretty confident to say this will work out perfectly fine still. So, hello Suzanne, lovely to have you on, and hey Debbie, lovely to have you on as well. So let's spin it up. 5 seconds, speed 4, it's going to mix through. As I would normally say, it's a perfect time, those 10 seconds, to put away your ingredients. Obviously, I'm not going to walk away and put things in the fridge, but if you're in your kitchen, you can walk away and put things in the fridge. So, by the way, another note for today, another little special tip. Your Thermomix song. If you've got a TM6, you can change your song and you can change your duration. So at the moment, when it first arrives on your bench, it goes for 15 minutes and it's a standard sound. You can go up to your settings, which are your little hamburger, we call it, the little line when you're on the home screen, these little 3 lines. Oops, you can't see, hang on. Let's focus over here. See those 3 lines? That's called a hamburger. And that little green thing is my bookmark because I didn't complete my recipe, so it's telling me I didn't. So we go to there and it brings up your setting menu. You can see there my recipes. My recipes are important. They store in the memory of your machine. So you want to be putting things in bookmarks, collections, and even saving collections, so the actual cookbooks, to your machine. Okay, you want to be getting into that habit of putting them over, because if Cookie Doo is down like it was on Tuesday when they were doing maintenance, you've got access still to those things. My week is dynamic, so if the internet is down, you can't see it because it works as you work. So if there's no internet going on, you can't connect up to the week. Recently cooked, I love recently cooked because it is a constant history of what you've made, and they also store into the memory of the machine. Only ever if you do a factory reset will you lose the recently cooked. Settings, now that's where we want to go. If you want to change your sounds, you go down to settings. You go to, you won't need to do Wi-Fi, Cookie Doo account, but then you've got sounds. And it gives you the chance to change the volume from really loud to really soft, from 10 seconds all the way up to 15 minutes and everything in between just about. And then you've also got the ability to turn on and off. It's just down the bottom of the screen, you can't quite see it. Let me go back a bit. That very bottom one actually has the next button. The next button can make a sound as you click it, if you like. Now the other thing there is your melody. So on the TM6 we've got some melodies to choose from. You can be a mandolin, you can be something or other I can't read, digital show, standard, whatever you'd like. Okay, so you get to pick and choose as well as the duration. Personally, I love 10 seconds. I don't really care what sound it is, but 10 seconds is 3 rings, and that's enough to grab my attention. So, all right, let's go next. Add the drained tomato mixture. We never took that out, so it's in there still. Insert the measuring cup. We'll do one more mix, but before we do, I might scrape the sides down, which is a good call because you can see there's a bit of mushroom up the sides. So we'll just give that a scrape down, and then scrape that down. Next. And then let's spin that up, speed 3, 5 seconds. And this will be it. So now it's going to go in my tray, 3/4 fill the molds, and we're going to cook it for 15 to 18 minutes on 180, or depending on your oven, you know best your oven, whether you go a little bit more or a little bit less. Now you notice it is quite runny because of course it has no flour in it. So it is going to be that really quite liquidy. You're going to find it is a bit like, I'm going to guess at the texture, like a frittata kind of thing, like a veggie frittata muffin, because it's going to be just those set eggs. Those eggs are what are going to set and rise a little bit in there, and that's what you're going to taste. On that note, let me just grab something out of the fridge to show you. I don't think the kids have finished them, but today we went for a bushwalk and we actually made a really yummy, I'll finish this later off camera, but you can see over there. Let me just spin this around. You can see what that looks like there. Yeah, we went on a bushwalk this morning and a swim at a lake, and here it is. In preparation, because I knew that they'd be hungry, because my kids are always hungry, I made some really yummy, oh, there was a paper towel, really yummy little bacon and egg and cheese muffins. So they were literally bacon, cheese, egg, salt and pepper, whipped up together and made these beautiful little things. I will put the recipe together and I'll let you know what it is, because they are really delicious and really filling, which is a winner for my household because I've got growing boys who are forever hungry otherwise. So yeah, bacon, and I used the high heat function to cook off the bacon. It was 150 grams of bacon in there. It cooked off in there, browned it all off. I used the capsicum recipe. So I hacked one of the other high heat recipes. It had 200 grams and I wanted 200 grams cooked off of the diced bacon. So I presume these will come out a little like this, a bit more nutritional value because this has the veggies, this doesn't, it has bacon and cheese. But yes, I will put that recipe up for you. So I'm going to get these in the oven. I will share a photo of the final product with you. And do reach out if I can support you in any way with your thermomixing. I love doing that. I love hearing what you're making. I love seeing your creations. I love seeing you succeed at getting the very most out of your Thermomix, whatever that means to you. So guys, take care. Let me know if I can support you in any way, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon. It is Friday. I hope to give you a yard tour tomorrow. There's been a few things happening in our yard over the last, I think it's been a fortnight now. So I want to show you what we've been doing outside. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow afternoon. Bye for now, guys.